With only 6 days to go, we've got some good news for XRP holders. In this video, we're going to be jumping down into the technical analysis of XRP with where I think things are going next, considering the current structures and psychology of the people buying and selling XRP. As I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, smash that like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗏𝒀𝒀. And if you haven't yet joined us in Discord, then why not check it out, linked in the description down below. Let's jump right down into this video and talk about what is going on with XRP. So for those who do not know, the 13th of June is going to be a critical day for the Ripple versus SEC, or more specifically, the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit. The Hinman emails. For those who do not know about the Hinman emails, basically, the Hinman speech is quite famous for saying that Bitcoin and Ethereum are not securities. Okay, and that speech is being touted by the SEC as a personal opinion. You may have heard, Gary Gensler even use this very phrase time and time again when he is basically presenting as the head of the SEC. He says these things are, his thoughts are my own personal thoughts and opinions and so forth, which in my opinion is just absolute BS and a get out of jail free card, at least in the SEC's opinion. These emails, however, are an indication that that is actually bullshit, and the SEC have been caught out. So Hinman was apparently and allegedly, and we won't know until the 13th of June, emailing the SEC about the speech, or the SEC were helping Hinman with the speech, which basically means it wasn't his personal thoughts and opinions if the SEC were involved. Now, the SEC have held back and tried their best to make sure that these emails do not make it into the public domain. The judge, however, disagrees, and they are going to be made public. They're going to be made public on the 13th of June. Okay, so 6 days from now, and we're going to see some very significant changes with how the public perceive the SEC. We all think, we all kind of know, and we all kind of feel like the SEC are corrupt and they need to kind of be held accountable for their actions. And I think on the 13th of June we're all going to get that confirmed. But we'll see how things play out. 6 more days to go. Let's actually jump into the good news, right? So we saw Binance getting sued by the SEC, and this caused a bit of a shake in the crypto space. However, the good news is that we've broken some of those bearish structures, and things are now looking pretty positive for the price action of XRP. So let's go ahead and start off with what happened. So over here, we were tracking this idea of a 5-wave structured move to the downside. Now, whereas it is technically possible for it to have done this, and we have finished that 5-wave structure there, if we actually check this, I don't think it meets the requirements. Let me just go ahead and pull this over. No, it did. Okay, so it's still technically possible that that is our 5-wave count right inside there. Okay, however, I would look at this more as a 335, and let me show you what that would look like. So if I move this over to here, we would actually see this as a 535, because this could be a diagonal, to be fair, and we know if we want to do due diligence on this, we should check that for the most part. However, the good news, regardless of whether we think this is a 335, as in A, B, and C like this, or a 135 like this, okay, and we have that as coming down in 5, we've crossed this low area. Let me grab this line right here. Okay, and that causes the invalidation. Okay, so it basically means we can't continue to go down under a 5-wave count, assuming that that was a wave 4, right? So 52.77 was that line. We crossed above it. Now, it's still technically possible that this is a big ABC, and we come down here in an A. This is our B, and we got to come down into a C. That's still technically possible. However, I have faith in believing that that's probably not likely to occur. And so it's going to be interesting to kind of see how things play out next. We do see here zigzag pattern moving up. We see this 3-wave coming down here. And so I could also look at this and say, is this just an irregular flat correction? And now we're moving on up. So all in all, I don't want to kind of say, oh, it could go up, it could go down. I think there's a higher probability of a move to the upside than there is to the downside. With that being said, we'll keep a close eye on it. We know that if we were to break up higher than 54.7, then we get it confirmed that we're moving up. And if we were to move on down lower than the swing low that's down here, and I'm going to have to draw another line on there. Let me just do that quickly. At 48.67, then we get confirmed that we're breaking down. I like the idea of the irregular flat here. It does fit nicely. It doesn't matter if we think of it as a irregular flat or whether we think of this as a 335. The irregular flat would basically put us in a more bullish state, as in we move on up. But if we think of it as a 335 or a 5-wave count like this, then we can still move on down. And if it is a 5-wave count, then we should move down. Basically, it makes it a true or false, right? If you start with 5, you must end in 5. And so if we look at this as an ending in 5, then it's an irregular flat. And if we're starting with 5, then we must end in another 5-wave structure. So for the most part, Elliott wave theory is, in my opinion, telling us that we are likely to see a move to the upside, in my opinion. That's kind of how I look at it. Now, the other thing to bear in mind here is that we do see ourselves with a structured move up here as well, okay? And if we take this over to here, we can see that we have not hit the 1.618. Okay, so it's possible that we can do that, and if we do, then of course we can start thinking diagonal here, correction for 2, up for 3, and so forth, and we start another 5-wave count. Failure to do so, we look at WXYXZ, and so WXY coming down into the WXYZ, sorry, WXYX, and then Z like this, and then we move up a little bit higher. Okay, and that one's going to be a little bit more difficult to kind of keep an eye on, so we'll keep a close eye on that. But let's go over into smart money concepts. Smart money concepts is another way of analyzing the market, and that looks at market structure, looks for large funds of money coming in and coming out of the space, and helps us understand whether or not we have a probability of a move up or a move down. Now here we are in a bullish state of play on our daily time frame. Okay, so this is a daily versus an hourly. So the other one was an hourly, so we'll just bring this into our hour. You can see that that move there got invalidated, and we're actually in a bullish structure here on the hourly chart as well. Okay, we can see here that we got a break of structure confirming it. Although we moved down, we can see what we did actually get. I guess we did, yeah, we did trigger this change of character into bearish state of play here, and that hasn't been broken. So to be fair, I didn't quite see that. So yeah, we are actually in a bearish state of play on the 1 hour chart. So it's indicating that we have that move to the downside. This was confirmed here on the 6th of June at 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Ultimately though, the push to the upside has left a fair value gap, so price should retrace down into this area, which also falls in equilibrium, and so we are going to be looking at 51 through to about 51.8 cent. That's going to be the equilibrium, so still pull back down here a little bit before potentially pushing up. Looks like a WXYZXZ is probably what's going to have to unfold, although I do like that as a 5-wave structure, so keeping a close eye on that. We might see this actually push up into that 1.618. And if we do that, then of course I'll be looking at this as a more impulsive structure and looking to break the high that's currently set up there. Okay, so on the 1 hour chart, that's looking interesting. Let's give that a few more hours, and another day or so should be able to confirm what direction the hourly is going in. But here on the daily time frame, it is still bullish. That has not been broken, so bullish structure on the daily time frame. Still looking to move on up here, and it looks like to me we probably still have a little bit more room there. Let me check this area right here, and yeah, I think we might have had a wave 4 situation right here, and we're probably going to have to push up a little bit more, and that would actually trigger out an impulsive structured point to the upside. We have a good structured move to the downside here, W, X, Y, X, and Z. So we have that right in here, W, X, Y, X, and Z. That's okay. And then we start moving up here, and this is where it gets interesting because we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 coming into this range right inside here with probably a diagonal, if anything. So we have kind of like a wave 1, 2, and it would have to come up higher for a wave 3, down for 4, then up to 5, and then we end up with that trend structure. And so essentially that's kind of where we're up to. I still think 6 days of buying is occurring here. I'm still on the fence as to whether we're going to see a kind of buy the rumor, sell the news event when it comes to these Hinman emails. I think if it really is as damning as the XRP community believe it's going to be, then I think the price action of XRP is just going to absolutely fly. And I think we might actually see more bullish times for the entire crypto market on the back of it, right? Because if you see the weakness in the SEC, I think then a lot of the stuff that's going on with Coinbase and with Binance and some of these other companies that the SEC are going after, it's going to really just make the community, the crypto community as a whole, more bullish, because we get confirmed just how corrupt the SEC is. So if that is the case, then I suspect Bitcoin to move to 35k as the CME gap, and I expect XRP to really have a good run. If of course they're not as bad, these emails are not as bad as the community want them to be, then we might only see a small relief rally and maybe even a sell the news event. It'll be interesting to see how it unfolds. I personally believe with the efforts that the SEC have gone through to try to prevent those emails from materializing, I think they're incredibly damning, and I think they're going to weaken the case against Ripple, but I think that's also going to weaken the case against many of these other cryptocurrency exchanges and things that are going on in the background. And I think that Gary Gensler's rush to try to sue Binance and to sue Coinbase comes on the back of the fact that he's on a ticking time bomb. He hasn't got long before he is the fall guy for everything wrong with the SEC. So time will tell, but ultimately I think when the public realize just how corrupt everything goes, specifically at the SEC, I think there will be calls for people's heads, and I think it's going to be interesting to kind of see how everything unfolds over in the US. The governments have gotten away with far too much in the recent years. It's about time that some of these agencies learned who they actually work for. So yeah, I think XRP here, we might see a little bit of downside pressure, but I don't think and I do not expect it to be too much. Other than that, I'm expecting a move to the upside. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. With 6 days to go, how excited are you for these Hinman emails? How bad and how damning do you think they're going to be? And what do you think is going to happen to the price action? Let me know in the comments below. Until the next one though, guys, have a fantastic day.
We are not financial advisors. None of what we have communicated verbally or in writing here should be considered as financial advice. It is not. Do your own research before investing in any digital asset or affiliate offers, and understand that investing in any crypto is risky. If you do, you need to be prepared to risk your entire investment. This video is for information and entertainment purposes only. All our videos are strictly personal opinions. Please make sure you do your own research and never take our opinions for financial guidance. There are multiple strategies, and not all strategies fit all people. Our videos are not financial advice.